we're gonna work on another chord progression today. This time it's gonna be in the key of E, and the three chords are gonna be E to A to B7. If you are not quite familiar with those three chords, you can check out the lessons 14, 15, and 25 in the courses of Prodigy, and that way you will get really familiar with them before getting to this video. We're gonna try to work on the transitions from chord to chord, and we're gonna follow the same dynamics that we did in the other videos, looking at the order of placement of our fingers and looking at the fretted notes and the notes that we have in common from shape to shape. So in this case we're gonna start with E major, and again, if I had to fret the E major chord, I will start with my middle finger on the 2nd fret 5th string, followed by ring finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, and then index finger on the 3rd string 1st fret. From E to A, if you look at both shapes, they don't really have any fretted notes in common. So what we're going to have to do is look at the order of placement of our fingers on the A chord and just try to mimic that over and over and over until it becomes faster and faster until it becomes second nature. So E, and the first note on A for us is gonna be the 2nd fret on the 4th string with our index. That's our target note. That's gonna determine the position for the other fingers when we switch to A. So let's just practice E to that particular note, which happens to be E again too. So 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, and one more time. 3 and 2, 3, and 2, 3, and good. Now in this particular shape, instead of adding fingers one by one, since these three fingers are kind of like together on the A shape, I'm just gonna add middle and ring finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd and 2nd strings. So basically I place my index finger and then I follow with these two fingers as they were a whole, as they were one finger only. So basically if we play that very slow, will be 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, and one more time. 3 and 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and good. Once that you have this transition and you can play it very comfortably in a slow tempo, try to practice that with whole strums like this. I'm gonna leave one bar in between E and A, okay, like this. So 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and that way I have some room, some time to change from chord to chord. Let's try that one more time with a bar in between, starting on E, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and good. Try that, play it faster and faster with your metronome until you feel really comfortable with that chord change, and then you can start practicing that without a bar in between, like this. 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and one more time. 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and same thing with this transition. Practice that with a metronome. Start pretty slow, go faster. After a while, if you're really comfortable switching chords in whole notes, try half notes like 1, 2, 1, 2, etc., etc. Okay, now that we cover E to A, let's move from A to B7. We're gonna start with the A chord, and then we have the B7 shape. The B7 shape has one note in common, but it's played with a different finger. So we're gonna count it as we don't have any notes, any fretted notes in common. Although we really don't have any fingers in common between those two shapes. But so the first note that we're gonna play on the B7 chord is the lowest fretted note, which is the 5th string, 2nd fret with our middle finger. So we're gonna target that note going from A to that particular note in whole notes like this: 3 and 2, 3 and 3 and one more time: 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Once that we are familiar with that, we're gonna add our next finger, which is the first fret on the 4th string, with our index. Make sure that those two notes sound good together. If not, make some adjustments on your position. Leave more room in between your palm and the fretboard. Add more angle to your fingers. Make sure that the back of your fingers don't touch the next string, etc. Now we're gonna switch from A to those two notes: 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and one more time: A, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Next finger, ring finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Those 3 notes together. Let's do the same thing, playing A to those 3 notes: 3 A, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. One more time: 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Last note on a B7, last fretted note, is the pinky on the 2nd fret, 1st string. So let's hear the whole chord. And now we're gonna switch from A to those 4 notes. Always follow that order. Whenever you place a finger in a new chord, keep that there. Hold the note, etc., etc. If one of the notes don't sound good, make little tiny adjustments. Add more angle to your fingertips, etc. until they sound good. Then put it in your hard drive, memorize it, and make sure the next time you go to that exact same position. So starting on A, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Good. Practice that several times until feels good, feels comfortable, you're following the right order, all the notes sound pretty well. I wouldn't say practice that until it sounds perfect, because I know that some of these things don't sound, some of these chords don't sound perfect at first, and like when you learn a new language, you have to learn the words, but the pronunciation is not gonna be perfect until much later, right? Until years later, you can see my case. But it's important to move on too. So make sure that you can play the chords comfortably. You get a good idea where to place your fingers, and the perfection in the sound and the cleanness in the sound will come later. The more you practice it, the cleaner that it will get, and the easier that it will get for you to practice these chord changes. So let's try the 3 chords: E to A to B7. We're gonna leave a bar in between each of them, so we have some time to remember how to change to the next chord and to play the right strum. So starting on E, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 A, 2, 3 and bar in between, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Okay, one more time, starting on E. 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Good. Once that you can play it with a bar in between those chords, try to play it without that bar in between, just going from chord to chord a little bit faster, always following the order of placement of those fingers. 3 and 1, 2, 3 A, 2, 3 B7, 2, 3 and. Good. The goal is that this week you can play those 3 chords one after the other comfortably in a slow tempo with a decent sound, with them sounding good. If one of the notes doesn't sound completely perfect, and if there's a chord that sometimes sounds really good and sometimes doesn't, don't worry too much about it. It will happen over time. Just keep practicing it. Make sure that you keep practicing and using your time in a smart way, so you don't practice these chord changes for hours and hours. Just keep in mind the rules and tips that I gave you, so every time that you practice, you can use your time wisely, you know, and you can just do this for 10 minutes and make sure that you are getting better every single time that you practice. Okay, well, I hope this was helpful. Contact us through rockprodigy.com/forum if you have any questions. Also, you can see our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, tell your friends and family and people that want to learn guitar about us, because we want you to enjoy what we enjoy, which is playing guitar, and keep playing guitar and having fun, because playing guitar is awesome. Bye bye.